Welcome. My name is Kathy Tinglestead. I want to welcome everybody to our August program here. The topic is groundwater in Anoka County. Today is August 14th, and I know that this will be rerun here online by people as they watch it. This is put together by the ABC League of Women Voters. And I'll go through some messages here, and I want to introduce the other person on the programs committee, and that's Kathleen Seacon. And I see she's on there, and she'll jump in at some point here with some comments. But our guest today, who I'll be introducing in a few minutes, is Chris Lord, who's the district manager for the Anoka County Conservation District. And kind of a quick overview here, and I'm hoping that with your Zoom link that you got the email that had the attachment on the groundwater specialist position is what we're talking about this evening. So the Anoka Conservation District, they're requesting an increase in funding from Anoka County to add the groundwater specialist to their staff in 2024. And currently within the geographical area of Anoka, there's no dedicated full-time groundwater person. And I think you're going to be hearing some things in the next 45 minutes or so that gives a good reasoning why there should be a dedicated full-time person. And like Gretchen mentioned, we're, hosting this, presenting this today to our members, and people can individually decide where they are on the issue, and encouraged to contact Anoka County board members as an individual. So anyway, the Anoka County Board is currently considering the 2024 budget, including the Anoka Conservation District's request for this groundwater specialist. So currently, our league does not have a position on this groundwater specialist. And as Gretchen mentioned, with the league positions, there is a clean water and good governance positions existing already with the state and the National League. And so this falls within those parameters. And as I mentioned, League of Women Voter members are all encouraged as individuals to be informed and express their personal opinion for or against these proposals. And specifically with this situation, it would be to the Anoka County commissioners, and especially ones with whom you have a positive relationship. And so there are 4 members on the committee that will be hearing the budget presentation from Chris Lord here on August 23rd. And but any of the 7 county board members will be able to vote on the budget part as it moves through the process with the county board this fall. So I guess at this point I want to go to Kathleen Seacon, see if she has any comments, and then I'm going to turn it over to Colleen Worden, who's going to give us some information about how she came up with this idea for us to have this as a program meeting. So Kathleen, are you able to unmute and say a few words? Sure. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, as I told you before I left town, I had full confidence this was going to come off greatly, and I still do, and I'm really anxious now to watch and see what happens tonight.
Okay, I'm sure you'll have some questions when we get to the Q&A part. Some great information. So I wanted to introduce Colleen Worden, who is a League of Women Voters member, and she might tell you a little bit more about that. And she is the one who came up with this idea. And specifically, there's some things on your groundwater specialist handout, but 94% of Anoka County residents drink groundwater, and that's a lot, either private wells or municipal water. And like I mentioned, currently there's no public employee dedicated full-time. So with that, in the unique position that Anoka County is in right now in our state, I'm going to turn it over to Colleen Worden, who has some remarks.
Hello, I'm Colleen Worden, and just so people know, I am on the board. I'm a supervisor of Anoka Conservation District, but here today, I'm here as a member of the League of Women Voters. So here we are, you and I today. We're kind of in the midst of the future, the past, and the present. And thinking about my past, I think about being a child and playing and exploring Rice Creek. And I think about the snakes in my backyard and the salamanders and the frogs. And then I think about going to the Boundary Waters and it being a cold day, crisp day, dark, and it's snowy. And then I think about being in my backyard, wanting to see wildlife, sitting there amongst the trees. And I see some swallowtails and some monarch butterflies, and I'm ecstatic that I see some wildlife in my backyard. And I think about that groundhog. He kind of rolled in under my gate one day, and he looked at me, and he scurried away. And I thought, I need a sign. I need a poster that says, groundhogs welcome here. And also, bison, welcome here. Wolves, welcome here. Beavers, welcome. Snakes, they'll be tolerated. And so I think about what's happening, and I'm sad. I think about the contaminated wells in Andover, and I think about the private wells that are drying up in Blaine and Ham Lake. And I think about them in Anoka, that we're going to be dredging the water of the Warm River, and that the lake, the Itasca Lake, is decreasing its level. And I feel sad about that. And I am enraged when I think about that a company is applying for a $450,000 loan to bottle our precious water and to send it out who knows where, and to put it in plastic bottles too. I am just annoyed. And I feel sad, and I know how this ends, and I know my time is limited. And I feel sad thinking about the animals and the plants that are being extinguished, and I feel sad about this, that we're not a priority in Anoka County. So I think about the water, and I think I need water, you need water, the plants need water, and the animals need water. And if we don't have water, the truth is we die. And we're in a community, and we're in this together. And this is a very complex issue, and it's not easy. And I'm thinking we need a water person in Anoka County to help us with this. And I would like to ask you to give your support, to say we need help deciding what to do, make sure we all have clean water in Anoka County. And I think about those people who came before. I think about Lonnie, and I think about Dee, and I think about their legacy and how they made a difference in Anoka County. And I'm hoping together that we can work together, maybe as individuals, but that we tell our commissioners we need someone who can deal with water because it's important for our future, for your future, for our Barron's future, and for the future of the Barron's. We need to come to terms with water and make sure that we have clean water for everyone.
Thank you, Colleen. Wow, that was really very eloquent. I was listening intently about what else was in your backyard besides that groundhog and other things. So, wow. And they can't say things like that around the metro. We're in a unique spot here in Anoka County with our wildlife and other issues that we have here. So anyway, it's my joy to introduce our guest speaker tonight. And I've known him, gosh, probably at least 20 years or more when I was a state legislator. And we are just so fortunate to have somebody of his caliber in our county. I mean, the knowledge, the depth of experience he has here is just incredible. And I know that most of you have probably met him or know him, but I'm going to turn it over to our district manager here for the Anoka Conservation District. Please welcome Chris Lord.
Okay, well, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me present to you today on Anoka Conservation District's budget request for 2024, and particularly on our request for a groundwater specialist. My name is Chris Lord. I'm the district manager of the Anoka Conservation District. And due to time limits, we're gonna jump into this pretty quickly today. This is our budget request and, total revenues are shown at about 2.8 million, with total expenditures at about 3.2. The difference of that is our request to the county board, toward the bottom there. The total request represents about under $1 per person in the county. It's about 10% of ACD's overall budget. With this money, we would remain still the lowest per capita funded SWCD in the state. But this is a close-up of the request specifically to the county. There are other funding sources that we get through the Egg Preserve program up at the top. It shows 27,000. Also in the past, vehicle safety assistance as well as buffer implementation and contracts to do various projects that help us on our budget. But today, we're primarily talking about the county general services request, which shows that the 226 here. This is flat to last year, and that's why for the rest of this presentation, I'm really going to focus on the thing that's different, and that is this 84,438 for the groundwater specialist. That alone represents about 23 cents per capita. It is 27% of our overall request, but amounts to 2.6% of our budget. And so ACD's top priority in terms of this budget this year is to add that groundwater specialist to the mix. This is a detailed listing of our expenses. I'm not going to run through that today. I've included in case there are questions toward the end, as well as this slide, which provides a definition for each of those items. But as I said, we'll focus on the groundwater specialist. Now, having a dedicated groundwater specialist in Anoka County is really important for several reasons. First of all, groundwater in Anoka County is vital. It's vulnerable, it's deteriorating, and it's complicated. So I'm going to push through those concepts really quickly. But before I do that, I want to mention that grants will not cover the cost of this position. If they would, I would have hired a person like this a long time ago. But if Anoka County were to delegate groundwater planning authority to ACD as part of this, we could deliver a state-approved groundwater plan and tap into even more grants. But I would project leveraging the cost of this position against grants to actually do $300,000 to $400,000 worth of activity each year. Now, why is groundwater vital in Anoka County? Well, 94% of Anoka County residents rely on groundwater for all of their needs. And when you compare this to treating surface water for commercial and domestic use, groundwater is cheap, and that's because it is both cleanish and abundant-ish. Groundwater also feeds our lakes and streams. Our lakes and streams are full even during dry weather, thanks to groundwater. But we all know how much Minnesotans value their water resources, and without groundwater, our lakes and streams would be in peril. Also, Anoka County lies in an area that makes us a major recharge area for drinking water in the Twin Cities Metro. So green here are the areas that recharge water more than other areas. That geology that makes us great for recharge also leaves us vulnerable to contamination. So where green was good, red is bad. These are the areas that are vulnerable. Now you take that vulnerability and you pierce the landscape with 53,000 wells. That's more than any other county in the state of Minnesota. And each of these wells can create a conduit for contamination, get down into deeper aquifers. On top of that, we have 6,000 contamination sources that are on the inventory by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, and that's more than all but 5 of the other counties in the state. When you take those combined, the math doesn't work out very well for us. We have natural geologic vulnerability, plus we pierce the landscape with 52,000 wells, add 6,000 contamination sources, and then you add all of the needs of all the people for drinking water and other uses. Well, you end up with a deteriorating water supply. Now, this is a map of the metro, and it shows in red those areas where the surface waters are in jeopardy if there's overuse of groundwater. You can see Anoka County stands out in a bad way. But are we worried about it? Is it really happening? The answer is yes. These are 2 wells in Lino Lakes. The lower is 125 feet, the upper 270, and you can see that red line, and that's a downward trend. It's only shown about a 3-foot drop since 1970 to current. And what does 3 feet make a difference? Well, this is about a 2.5-foot drop in Bunker Lake. Over a similar time period, they monitored water levels from 1985 to 2012 and then gave up. because there wasn't enough water to monitor anymore. Imagine if you lived on a lake like that, what would happen with property values? But ultimately, I say it's about the people, and let's not have the next Whitebear Lake. Water quality is another issue. These forever chemicals that you hear about in the newspapers, they are on the rise, and Anoka County unfortunately lights up like a Christmas tree for monitoring these chemicals. Also, when you consider our landfills, and we do have several, each of them has this pink zone around it where we'd expect contamination. Well, you see those other pink dots to the lower left, those are all contaminated wells in a neighboring, in an adjacent neighborhood. The yellow dots have not been shown contamination yet. This is right here in Andover. Fortunately, also, many toxins have no odor or taste, and they're not tested for, so it's hard for residents to really know that their water is safe. Imagine again how this would impact property values. But ultimately it is about the people. This was a meeting just the other week in the city of Andover. Residents there concerned about their drinking water. You may recognize one of them, that's Commissioner Mosh. Groundwater is also very complicated. It flows up, down, and sideways. Yes, up. It flows up. You know, how fast and along what path it's flowing, we're really just kind of guessing. It's also complicated in that it goes in layers, top to bottom. So aquifers are kind of like a layer of nesting bowls. And if you imagine those big mixing bowls we usually have in our kitchens, and you added water in between each layer, so the bowls were floating inside of each other. That's what this shows. This is a cross section across the Twin Cities from Wright County over to Stillwater. If you cut through the middle, this bottom area is the lowest aquifer, kind of like the water in the lowest, biggest mixing bowl. And then there's an area that water can't pass through, and then another aquifer. Well, these two aquifers are our primary drinking water sources here in the metro. The deepest is called the Mount Simon Hinkley, and I'm going into this because it feeds into the upcoming couple of slides. The water in the bottom of the Mount Simon Hinkley is 30,000+ years old glacial meltwater. As you get close to the edge, it's only hundreds of years old. And all of this data and understanding comes from these pinpoint wells that we have throughout the Twin Cities. Now, what that means is if you imagine I asked you to put more water in the bottom mixing bowl in the Mount Simon Hinkley, how would you do it? You'd have to go to the edges of your bowls to pour water into it. And this becomes really important because where the edge of the aquifers in the Twin Cities is through here, these counties shown there. Whoops. Jump forward. To make it a little bit more obvious, the pink here is the recharge area for the deepest aquifer in Mount Simon Hinkley. The green fills the other one. You can see Anoka County and their counties to the north and west are hugely important. Officials have said that protection of this region from water pollution should be a highest priority from all government levels. The other thing that complicates it is that surface watersheds don't align with groundwater sheds. So if you want to effectively manage groundwater, you can't do it based on surface water boundaries. These two maps are essentially images of groundwater sheds versus surface watersheds, and you see there really isn't much alignment at all. So why now? Why am I coming to you this year for this request? And other than the long-term lake and stream water level declines that we mentioned and wells drying up, either well interference or the droughts, or the more frequent and severe public and private well contamination, more broadly, we have issues like these train derailments, pointing out how vulnerable our water resources are. We also have these companies looking to mine Minnesota groundwater and ship it out of state for sale. Are we prepared to answer that call and have a reasonable response to it? Fortunately, there are also some groundwater-centric program funding coming online through the Clean Water Fund. And also, it's just too important to relegate to 20% of one person's job. What we could do if we got this money is we could coordinate outreach and education. And I'm talking about, reaching out to public officials. This isn't K-12. This is working with city staff, public officials, the decision makers out there. Leadership and coordination is hugely important, and the list is long there. We could be a liaison with state agencies, coordinate work groups like the wellhead protection work groups. Also do a data analysis and interpretation. There's a lot of data, no one's looking at it. Funding and coordination, well testing programs, etc. And serving as an advocate for Anoka County residents on groundwater issues at a larger level. If we had this position, I think, as I mentioned earlier, we would intend to leverage the investment in the position into grants that would allow us to take action. And those actions would fall under 3 categories. Those things to reduce or mitigate groundwater vulnerability and contaminants, reduce groundwater waste, and increase groundwater recharge. And why ACD? Why not somewhere else? Well, we are solely dedicated to tackling complex natural resource issues. The groundwater specialist will be on an interdisciplinary team of resource experts. We are nonpartisan and non-regulatory, and we serve as a resource to the public and private sectors alike. And we routinely leverage funds at 4 to 1 or more. We also have a tradition of collaborating across boundaries to manage resources at appropriate scales. That's it.
I had a question, so I
Yeah.
can do that while you're checking.
Yeah.
It
There's a
seems
lot
to
of
me,
comments and yeah. in the
Okay.
chat, we can-
so it seems to me like Anoka County really doesn't have someone to advocate for our groundwater resource. You know, whenever a city gets a permit from DNR is looking at a lot of factors, and they're looking on a kind of broader scale to issue this permit. And I think that we really need somebody to advocate locally for our own resource so that we know here that this is what it's going to mean to us and that we can work with others in more of an advocacy position. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that I think that advocacy would be a big role for the ACD here in helping to make better decisions, better informed decisions. So that was kind of my thought on why this is important.
So other comments in the chat or?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Julie.
I'm thinking as a past elected official in the county that constituents' concern about clean water and safe drinking water was actually an election issue in some of our cities last year. And a couple of the cities in the last 5 years have had a day when there's no water coming out of the faucet. And alarms go off and people are wondering what's going on, what's wrong. And nobody ever really feels good about the explanation they get from public officials. So it actually would be really helpful for all the communities in our county to have a specialist who's not political help address concerns when you open the tap and you get nothing and they turn the water on and say, now you should be boiling water, but you get that notice 3 hours after you made formula for a baby or you gave your elderly mother medicine with tap water. So I think constituents in our area are more and more concerned about the quality of water. And if this person can help deal with some of the citizen issues and education, I think that would be a plus. And I also am saying that people want to trust someone who's like a specialist, that's a water specialist, that's not elected or appointed, because they want someone who's not part of the system that turned off the water or turned it back on and said, oh, you shouldn't have been worried, you should trust us. People aren't feeling as trustworthy now. And I think some of the things Andover went through in the last, it's been more than a decade, I saw and heard a lot talking to people in the community. And I know this has gone on in other cities when people in Ham Lake had their wells go dry this last year. I knew about people in Andover who lived near someone with a failed septic system, and they were concerned about their well. So I think maybe it's just a public health safety concern might escalate or elevate the importance of this position. Is people are concerned about safety of water. We're hearing about 3M. I have relatives that have looked at housing in the east suburbs, and people say, whatever you do, don't get a house here or there because of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us want to be living in a community where nobody wants to buy a home because of water.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say if this person could really help with public health, public information, I think that'd be great. And I know ACD, Anoka Conservation District, has been very good about writing articles in the community newsletters to help people understand a little bit better about what they dispose of that goes down the drain on the street. And a lot of people didn't worry about that. Now we have Girl Scouts are putting the little fish by the storm drains. And they're educating us. You know, the kids are teaching us. We need more people teaching all of us. So I guess that's my view on what I've heard today.
Great.
So was there some other comments? Otherwise, we can go to Kathleen.
I will say, so folks had mentioned that it seems like getting people to reduce watering lawns is really challenging. And I think conservation and that messaging would be part of what this person could do and work with cities to do so as well. And other folks provided examples of how they've reduced watering. Wes, you provided a lot of great comments specific on the presentation. I'll let you know.
Another thing that I thought of, now we can go to, I see that Cindy has her hand up and apparently Kathleen has something too, but I'm going to barge in here. I think that the question about why ACD is important, and because ACD doesn't have a regulatory role, you know, there could be an argument, yes, we need a groundwater person, but maybe they should be at the health department, or maybe they should be someplace else. I think that ACD with its technical assistance role is the right place for this, and that they can be a resource for the people at the health department and a resource for the people in the cities and a resource for other areas. But I think that being non-regulatory is a good kind of a place for that.
Good point.
Okay, Ron is actually Cindy.
Cindy, yeah.
Cindy, there you go.
So I had a question on one of your slides when you were showing the map of the groundwater map and the surface water map. And the impression that I had was that they are totally unrelated issues. And I think with the problems with lawn fertilizers and salt and everything that goes on the streets, that was a little confusing to me that those are not related, and I wonder if you meant to give that impression.
Yes and no. I think the maps were designed, and I should be more clear on this, to show that the right scale to manage them effectively is different. Certainly, surface water impacts impact groundwater. That's why we're vulnerable to contamination. So it's a great point, and I'll take that to heart and make sure
Chris,
if that's
You're not sharing your screen now.
no, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't try to pull up that
Okay.
map again. Essentially, it was the two maps of Minnesota. The one showing groundwater management areas, and the other showing surface water management areas. And to say that they're connected, groundwater and surface water are connected, but if you want to effectively manage them, you have to do them at different scales.
Diane Kroll has her hand up as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to ditto your comments on advocacy. I think, Gretchen, that advocacy is really important, and I think that really should be one of the things that you highlight for this position, because when you're talking about the importance of conserving our groundwater, not just from contamination, but I think we have to be stewards of the use of our groundwater. When we're looking at, you know, the wells drying up and people turning on their taps and not getting groundwater, some of that's due to the growth of, you know, we've got so much uncontrolled growth that, you know, that's tapping into our groundwater. And I think, you know, everybody's looking at, oh, we got to grow, we got to get these taxes, you know, get all this tax money in. But I think we have to look at how we're growing our cities, how we're growing our towns. And, you know, when we're doing that, we're tapping into our precious resources. And, you know, how is that affecting our groundwater? You know, and then how are our residents using our groundwater? You know, how are our companies using our groundwater? And we have to look at how we're using that resource. So I think this person really has to be a strong advocate. It's not just on the, you know, the polluting side of it and the contaminating side of it, but it's how we're using that groundwater and who's using that groundwater. So I think we've really got to start rethinking our relationship with what are we using this water for and what's our priority. You know, it should be for our drinking and our food preparation, you know, and our agriculture, you know, for, you know, the gardens that we have to grow our food. I think we need to rethink that, you know, keeping a green lawn is not a priority. I think we need to watch our growth. You know, how many, you know, where are we growing? You know, where are our green spaces? And I think we're losing some of that. I think we've lost a lot of that. You know, the person that spoke, apologize for not catching your name, but very early on about, the green space and the animals coming in. We've lost a lot of that and we keep losing it. And we're so worried about this tax base coming in. And I think this person, advocacy, I just think that's got to be high up there. Just my comment. Thank you.
Looks like Kathleen's
Thanks.
ready.
I have a question. Early on, you mentioned that Anoka County has a lot of recharge capacity. And that brings to my mind, is the groundwater that's being recharged Anoka's, or is it Stillwater, or Minneapolis, or St. Paul that has access to that groundwater? And will that be an ongoing issue, and will a specialist help the county deal with that fact that it isn't Anoka County's groundwater, it's a universal resource?
Yes. It's a regional issue. Where we recharge is what's called the Franconian Ironton Galesville recharge, which is Rockford, which is it's the second one up. And so it's not the Mount Simon Hinckley, it's the other one, and it's the most used one in the metro. So our water water has a treacherous journey in order to become drinking water under Minneapolis. First, it has to get past the root zone of all the trees and plants. Then it has to get past the hydrologic influence of the ditches and streams. Then it has to get past the hydrologic influence of the big rivers like the Mississippi River. Then it has to get past the hydrologic influence of all of the 53,000 wells that are trying to suck it out of the ground. And then 100 years later or so, it makes its way down. And so what's happening is essentially they're sucking the water out of the ground down there, and that's creating a suction throughout everything, pulling new water in. If they reduce how quickly they're, sucking the water out, then our water will slow down on its trip in that direction. Where it goes, the bottom of that bowl is, fortuitously right under the Twin Cities Metro, right under Minneapolis and St. Paul. We built the city because there was a confluence of rivers, and there also happens to be the best groundwater resources in the state of Minnesota and some of the best groundwater resources in the nation right underneath our city. So we're lucky, and it seems normal to us to have this water resource, but it's just happenstance. The rivers happen to be there. And so we're incredibly fortunate in this area to be able to throw a well down 150 feet and drink what comes out. It's not normal, but we certainly take it for granted. And so, I think one of the things that has happened in the past when we talk about groundwater is you'll see a slide on here and you say, well, if we're benefiting them, shouldn't they pay for it? Shouldn't they pay for this specialist? Why should we pay for the specialist if it's going to help someone else? And there's a whole lot of that goes on, unfortunately. And so I'm trying not to go down that direction with this because, frankly, there's logic in all of that. Why wouldn't Minneapolis, St. Paul, except Minneapolis drinks a whole lot of river water. They still are drinking Mississippi water. So they might say, well, why would we care? We're not drinking any of the groundwater. Still water less so, but our water makes it right underneath Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Well, the other thing too is that the recharge is important to us too, because if we weren't recharging up here, our superficial aquifers and the Franconia, benefit from that recharge.
Absolutely.
So
our lakes would dry up.
Yeah, we need recharge here as well.
Yeah, and if demand in other portions of the aquifer increases, so that essentially the draw speeds up, we actually have to have infiltration rates today that are unparalleled to what they were historically, and that's even though impervious surface like asphalt slows down recharge and makes water not go into the ground, or else we will eventually see our surface water resources dramatically drying up. And we have heard of wells drying up in here. I was talking earlier with the former Blaine council member, and they're talking about city wells drying up. It's kind of unheard of. And that can happen when there just isn't enough water in the aquifer at that point to suck as much as they want to. It's almost like when you have your straw in your cup and there's a little bit of water in the bottom and you're slurping through the straw. There is some water there, but not enough to fill the straw. And so then it's kind of like it dries up. Anyway.
Yeah, I see Sandy has her hand up.
Yes, thank you. It's clear from your graphs and from your conversation that for our person to have the maximum impact, that person would have to be able to work with other counties. So do other counties have a similar position already in existence so that if we get a specialist, that person has somebody already there to work for? Or would it be part of our specialist's job to create the relationships that we need to cooperate among counties?
No and no. There aren't groundwater specialists in the counties we would likely have to work with. There are folks who do some groundwater stuff at forest soil and water conservation districts like ours. There aren't groundwater folks, but some of the counties adjacent to us do have groundwater, dedicated groundwater folks. Not to the north and west though. And so those, we would be working with our partners who we work with on surface water things, but we'd be providing that groundwater expertise. We have close working relationships with district offices up in Isanti and Sherburne, Wright County. That's one of the things that I think make us a good home for this, is I can tell you the staff names of everyone up in Isanti County and Sherburne County, and I've got them on, I can text them on my phone if I need to. So, if we have the groundwater specialist, we can bring that expertise to them. We don't each need a groundwater specialist, but we need someone to wrap their heads around this stuff. We would be one of maybe the first groundwater specialists in the state of Minnesota for a soil and water conservation district. The only others that I know of, Dakota County has a good staff that actually like 5 employees are dedicated to groundwater. Washington County, I think, has 3 employees who are dedicated to groundwater. Ramsey County has several because they've done groundwater planning. We haven't done that here. So if you compare us to other counties that are similar, we are we're behind the curve a bit. But I think a groundwater specialist out of our office would be empowered to do really good work with partnerships that we've already have established.
Other questions? Looks like Paul. Go ahead and unmute. Go ahead, Kathleen.
In my opinion, it would be tax money well spent. And I think the purpose of the program and the purpose of having it available on video for other people is to teach people, to remind people, to let them know that we have the opportunity. And if we use that opportunity to work responsibly, we can make a huge difference right now and into the future. And having worked with the Anoka Conservation District on a number of issues when I was a state legislator, I know the importance of the work that we did with the things that were going on at that time. And some of it was things with landfills and polluting. Some of it was oak wilt, concerns with people with the lake levels. And I do think it's an excellent spot for the specialist, and I think it would be money well spent for the county. And that's what I plan on telling the commissioners I contact.
That's what we're asking for. Yes, for individual members to contact those 7 county board members. And I think with the meeting invitation tonight, there was a link that went right to their emails, their contact information. And keep in mind, a good time to contact them is now, because they'll be hearing the presentation on August 23rd, and shortly thereafter be making some kind of decision. And through the fall, the project could be changed, the budget could be changed, but this is the key time right now. So thanks to anybody for communicating with your county board members.
Is this going to go to the League of Women Voters board to say if you are making a position statement on this?
Yeah, we'll discuss it with our action chairs after this meeting. I think I got nothing else.
Okay, so it is after 8. I don't know if you have any closing comments, otherwise we can wrap up too.
I just want to acknowledge too that Linda Rogers had mentioned that she'd like to maybe be able to see the slides if she wanted to give more comments on that. It was recorded. I think we'll be able to get a link out. The actual presentation is several megabytes in size. I don't know that sending that out to everyone quite works, but and then email me directly. I think you saw my email address, but it's chris.lord, L-O-R-D, at anokaswcd.org. It's also in some of the emails that went out, and that flyer I think has it on there that you had access to. But again, I greatly appreciate the insights and comments on this presentation, the opportunity to present to you all today.
Okay, thank you.
Let's thank Chris.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we are done, and we can turn off the record and close the meeting.
Okay.